I am Karina Clarke, and I am Spanish faculty, and now I think I'm in social sciences, so. I am full-time faculty at Metro, and I teach Spanish, and I teach transfer courses, so I teach all of our range of courses, Spanish 1110 through Spanish 1120, 2110, 2120, but I also teach Spanish for Business and Spanish for Medical, and I have created those certificates for Spanish. This will be my 13th year, so very excited. It's a great job. I've enjoyed it all the years. I'm actually surprised that I've been here for 13 years just because it's gone by so quickly, but it's been a great experience. Yeah. Oh, I had a variety of jobs. They all centered around education. So I taught middle school, I taught high school, I taught a private high school. I also like to use my language, so I did work for a lawyer briefly, and I worked as a translator. But a lot of my career was based around education. It's a tough question because my dad was in the Air Force. So I was born on an Air Force base in Texas, but my entire family is native to Panama. So I'm basically a first-generation American. My parents were both born in Panama, and then we moved here. I was born in the United States, obviously, with my brother and sister, but they moved in the 60s, and I was born in the 70s, and we moved around. I basically feel like a Panamanian Nebraskan because I graduated from Papillion La Vista High School, and I spent most of my childhood growing up here in Nebraska, so it's very much my home. And I went to school at Washington University in St. Louis for my undergrad, and then I got my master's at Loyola. And then I decided to come back to Nebraska to get my PhD, and currently I am finishing up my PhD at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. It's tough to say I have a mentor because my main mentor is my mother. She was an elementary school teacher, and then she became a principal. So when I got my first teaching job at Loyola University, she was the one that I consulted as to how I should plan my lessons and how I should work things out. When I got my job teaching at a private high school in Chicago, Illinois as well, she was the one that advised me, and she basically helped me get my first job in OPS when I moved back to Omaha. So she's been, she's a mother, she's great, but she's been my mentor since the beginning, and she's always been involved in education, and so she encouraged my educational pursuits. And to this day, she's my chief proofreader on all of my dissertation chapters. So it's been really great to have a mother and a mentor in one. Because my mom was a teacher, I kind of shied away from it, a little bit rebellious, but I had an opportunity in graduate school to do a long-term subbing job, and then they also gave me a teaching assistantship where it kind of required me to teach. And I got a lot of encouragement from my professors, and they said, you have that thing. And I'm like, what thing are you talking about? And they're like, that teacher thing. And I just kind of gravitated toward teaching to the point where I couldn't see myself not doing it. And I appreciate all of my interactions with my students. I very much appreciate my time at Metro because Metro allows me to simply teach. I can do other things if I want to, but if I just say all I want to do is teach, Metro fully supports that. Metro, I think, is a place that I've always wanted to be. When I first graduated from college, I actually worked at Lozier down the street, and I would take my lunches on Metro's Fort Omaha campus, and I said to myself, one day I'm going to work here. I've always thought that here at Metro, and particularly the Fort Omaha campus, was some place that I needed to be, that I wanted to be. And then I got here and I realized that not only was my own personal desire of the energy of this place fulfilled, but I realized that the students are the key to what makes this institution so great. They are motivated, they are always willing to go the extra mile, they are easily encouraged, they are excited. And for me, my main goal as a teacher is to see my students excel. And I see a lot of success stories. Some of the most gratifying moments is to see students that I taught maybe in middle school at OPS in my classes at Metro, to see that maybe in 8th grade I wasn't sure where they were going, but now they're here at Metro. And I've had more than one experience with that. Even recently I ran into a student in the airport on the way to Guatemala, one of the students I had in 8th grade. And she's telling me, I graduated from Metro, I'm joining the Marines, my life is so much better. And I think that seeing that transition with non-traditional students, with students that have issues, with young students, homeschoolers, with students that maybe have retired from their regular career and they come back because they just have that joy of learning. Metro facilitates all of that, and it's exciting to watch all of that. For me, I can't see myself teaching any other place. I always want them to take away being able to speak for themselves in Spanish. Some of my students have a career that they want to apply their Spanish class to. Some of them only have 11 weeks to dedicate to Spanish. And so I've kind of tailored it to the student that just needs that one class. So after that, I say, I want you to be able to speak for 5 minutes about yourself. I want you to talk about your name, where you're born, how old you are, your likes, your dislikes. And more than that, I want them to develop a linguistic sensitivity, meaning if they only take this one class, they have enough tools to be able to grow in language in real life, to be able to decipher, to ask more questions of people who speak the language, and to be more comfortable trying to speak for themselves. So they come away feeling, or my hope is that they come away feeling empowered in the language, that it's not inaccessible to them. It's something that they can use in their everyday life. I think my greatest challenge is feeling like I maybe not have been able to reach every student in my class, especially the larger classes. I want every student to feel like they have taken ownership over the class, and if I can't facilitate that for every student, I don't feel like I've met a certain goal. And so there's definitely been certain quarters where I feel like I probably could have made more of a connection with one student, or made more of an impact, or reached out to them more. And because of my load, or because of certain students, or the dynamic of the class, or other responsibilities, I feel like that's my biggest challenge, is making a true connection with all my students. I think the one thing I always tell students is to learn to advocate for themselves. If they need something, they should speak up, because there's not a lot of mind readers in this world. I encourage them to find their own voice, and I encourage them to make connections with people. But the main advice I tell most of my students is advocate for yourself. Make sure you know what you need, what you're lacking, and make sure you know who to communicate that to. And if you don't know who to communicate that to, ask the question, because there's always going to be someone there who wants to help you. And you'll never know until you open your mouth. My name is Karina Clarke. I am full-time Spanish faculty at Metropolitan Community College, and I work in the social sciences area.